This is the next step of creating an animation. So far, we've added a walkthrough path that walks down this hillside, turns, and walks toward this stair into the courtyard, looking into the building on the first level. In the project browser, it created a branch here called walkthroughs, and beneath that I've created a walkthrough number 2. And if I were to click on walkthrough number 2, it'll give me what would be the final result of my camera position, the last keyframe in this path I was following. To edit the walkthrough, I would click on this frame here and choose Edit Walkthrough here. Currently, I'm at frame 300 of a total of 300 frames. You can imagine frames are pictures. There's 300 pictures linked together, and by quickly displaying each of those images one after another, that creates an animation or a walkthrough. To get to the beginning of my walkthrough, I would change this number here to 1. And here you can see that I am actually beneath the topography here. And this is obviously a bad place to start, but it is the very first frame of 300 frames that make up this animation. So next we're going to do is edit the path of the camera that determines where in 3D space the actual camera is located. And obviously currently at this position, the camera is underground and needs to be relocated above the ground. So a good view to do that, or a pair of views to do that, would be to launch your site plan view as the one view, and to also launch perhaps a cross section or a site elevation that shows the hillside here. So I'm going to use the south elevation here. I'm going to double click on that. Because that walkthrough was highlighted, the frame around the walkthrough is highlighted, the camera is going to highlight here in this view. Now, to begin, we're going to launch multiple views here simultaneously so I can edit the camera as a result. So what we're going to do is go to View and Tile all the views that are currently open. Now, I don't need all these views. I'm going to type ZA and only cherry pick which views that are interesting. Usually, the floor plan views are the best. And again, that site elevation view and the walkthrough animation view would be the most helpful for this part of the process. So, granted I have all these views open previously, I can begin to turn off any view that is really not necessary for the task that we have at hand here. So I'm just going to close all of these views. And leave the site plan, the south elevation, and the walkthrough animation view open, and no others. So, heading back to the View tab, click Tile again. It launches the 3 views that I'm interested in. And to see the camera position and the walkthrough, I will simply click on the walkthrough view here and activate this crop region. And there I can see it in plan and in the south elevation here. So the first step is to move the camera up to the height of my placeholders here, which are these people. That is where a camera is located that created this perspective. That camera needs to be up here at the eye level of this placeholder. So to do that with the animation here highlighted, I'd choose Edit Walkthrough. And I want to modify under the Options tab here, I want to modify the path. I'm at frame 1, which is the very, very first frame of the animation. And here in the side elevation here, I'm going to grab that dot and move it up to the height of this person's head. And you'll see here in the animation walkthrough view that the camera's been moved above the ground. I then need to navigate to each subsequent keyframe and move them up to the right height along this path. So here is the next keyframe button. I want to choose that. And again, with the path selected here, I'm going to grab that dot and move it up to the height of this person's head. I'm going to use the next keyframe here. In the plan view, you can see where you're located here in plan. That dot that has these triangles coming from it needs to be moved up to the height of this person's head. Next keyframe, I'm now at the foot of the stairs. Again, I grab this dot here with the triangles emanating from it. I'm going to move that up to the height of this person's head. There. I'm going to use next keyframe, and here you'll see I'm actually inside the lower courtyard in plan view. I'm already in this lower space, and they're already at eye level with these placeholders I've placed here, these people. So I'm going to actually move them down slightly to eye level. Hit next keyframe, slightly down to eye level. Next keyframe, slightly down to eye level. And as I go to the last keyframe here, you'll see this is located here in plan. It's the very last keyframe, this very last dot, looking in toward the interior of the space. And again, in the south elevation, I could take that dot and move it down slightly below this mullion here. I'll move it down a little bit more. And there you can see what it is this person is saying. Now, given this is the last frame, 300 of 300 frames, I can go into the walkthrough here, and I can adjust the size of this box here to show more of the interiors. Now, again, you want to keep this box very close to the original size. Anything that exaggerates its size begins to really distort the perspective. So you want to stay fairly close to the original size of this box. This box will then dictate the size of all the frames throughout the entire animation. By clicking on the background here, you're quitting the editing of the walkthrough. I'm going to hit yes. And if I want to return to the walkthrough, I click on the 3D view of the walkthrough, click on the frame here, and launch under Edit Walkthrough the very first keyframe, the very first frame here, which is number 1. Enter. This is the beginning of the animation. And a quick preview of what we've accomplished so far. We would simply go to Edit Walkthrough here and use the play button and watch the animation unfold. So I'll hit play here, and we'll watch it in the walkthrough window since this is active. And there's the animation. Now, obviously, there's things here that I'd like to change. For example, I'd like to see more of the building and less of the things that are happening to the left side. I'd like to look over toward the building itself. Here, I'm turning the corner toward my placeholder, this person here. I'm going down the stairs to this position here, adjacent to this person, and I'm looking in toward the interior of the space at the very last frame, and then it starts over again. Any given time, you can change this frame to any number and see where you are located all along the path of the animation. Typing in new numbers here. So that ends the editing of the path by simply activating your walkthrough crop region here. And in a side elevation or a plan view, you can choose to modify the path, thus the position of the camera. Next, we'll actually adjust the camera themselves in terms of what it is that they're looking at.